I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing.
Both these surfers in the top 10 coming into this quarterfinal heat. Sage Erickson in 9th position. She's going to be feeling good about just getting through to the quarters once again. Johanne Defay, she has a great opportunity. Very rare to see those two meeting even as early as the quarterfinals. But Steph Seed a little lower this year. Here goes Sage Erickson on the first wave of quarterfinal number 1. Has been looking very sharp on her board all through this contest, and has also had a number of quick starts. That's not going to be a huge number on that first ride, but Sage has been doing pretty well to establish leads early on in these heats.
Yeah, she's I think just trying to find that rhythm. Even though she fell on that last turn, I think it's clear to say. That's why I was wondering who's going to get the quick start. That wasn't an obvious big set. That was just a a small set that came through. So that's the intention of maybe just grabbing a quick 5 or a 6. Left-hander right here. It's got a nice steep wall to start. Does well to float over that whitewash. Now that she's back out to the open face, you can see Sage's style. Very beautiful, and she kind of draws those lines out. But she, picking up on the fact that wave just a little too A-framey. It's full. That shoulder's there, kind of sitting with her. She wants that wall to be a little steeper so that she can tag the lip. So Sage just going through the motions, but what she did there by grabbing that wave is she handed priority right over to Johanne.
That's really where this world title race is going to start to reveal itself. At the moment, neither of these competitors are in that mix. They're more inside that qualification story, as we see Sage on her second wave now. And she has linked together a couple of decent turns here. This is a nice little wall. It stood up beautifully for the Californian. She belts it right there on the inside. Just over 18 minutes to go. We had Johanne Defay, on the left. And we'll see how her ride played out in just a moment.
Well, you can see her kicking water. That's almost a dead giveaway. She's probably pretty happy. So it was a split peak. Those surfers were up at the same time. So this is the left. See, a little bigger. Beautiful wall. So that answers my question. Why was she sitting so far over? She was eyeballing the lefts. Nice snap right there. Johanne, a vertical hit. And then a little closeout re-entry. So just 2 solid maneuvers for Johanne, but definitely a good start. And this wave looked kind of slopey to me. It didn't have that wall, but I'm really impressed with how Sage surfed. She really steps on her tail block and zipped through those turns. She found some spark on that snap, but that carve right there was very impressive. Again, sometimes when these pro surfers, they stand on their board, they're right in the magic spot of their surfboard. That looked like, to me, she was surfing quicker than normal. So she kind of found that money spot in her surfboard running.
She's got that magic board, but Sage is very aware, I think, of Johanne's record against her. She's aware that Johanne's typically a little bit more aggressive, and she put a lot into those moves, the carves in particular. Nice committed surfing. So this will be an interesting exchange from the panel, waiting for it to come through. 17 minutes remaining. And the surfer's already back out there, and it's Johanne Defay with priority. There's a bit of distance between these two competitors at the moment.
She's going to be loving the fact that Carissa Moore is going to be challenged by Stephanie Gilmore in that heat number 4, because that's her main rival right now, other than obviously Courtney Conlog, who already went down in this event. We talked about it earlier in this event.
Heat that a lot of people would have seen her falling in. Erickson's just been solid, Ross, and the good performances keep coming this during the break.
Oh, wow. Very nice second maneuver there. Again, she's keeping that flow up, which is pretty impressive because she had that really steep pivot, gave it a nice little schwack, and then finished it off maybe a little early on that last maneuver. Had she waited one more beat, she could have smacked that last lip. So a small mistake there for her, but she bettered her situation.
She had a 3.83 on her first wave. She's just dropped the 5.67. So Johanne Defay now chasing a 7.34 to get herself into the lead with the best set wave maybe of this quarterfinal rolling in at the moment. Certainly the biggest wave. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the best.
Yeah, and they're out of position but for the right-hander, but that was a beautiful wave that peeled through. So I think both these ladies in the water right now focusing on those left-handers.
We've seen some good numbers dropped on the left. The first heat of the day, I kind of questioned the decision from some of our competitors to go left because the walls were very tapered, but they've started lining up nicely over those cobblestones out there. Johanne Defay's found a pretty decent wall to play with right here. This is her second wave. She does need a big number, 7.34.
Well, I don't blame her. You know, we saw that piece on Johanne Defay. She's from Reunion Island. One of the best waves in the world is where she honed her skills, St. Lou. And, you know, it's such a beautiful wave. So Johanne Defay, very comfortable with that effort. You know, that's kind of one of her strengths in her surfing. She has many, but that backside attack, she gets wound up. When she gets wound up, she's just relentless on that attack. She will continuously smack that lip right there is the second one. You can see that rhythm. She's found it. Third one. And so unfortunately for Johanne, that wave kind of lost its energy. So, you know, it had a little bit of a fizz to it, but not a bad start.
Sometimes when there's a bit of time on the clock, Ross, it seems that competitors, obviously they want to get the number straight away, the 7.34, but they're just happy to chip away at the requirement and better the score that they're currently hanging on to. I think that might have been the case there for Johanne. I think she will get rid of the 4.83 as we see Sage up once again. Now she's trying to better a 5.67 with this ride. She's looked sharp whether she's gone left or right so far in this heat.
Yeah, I think, you know, what I'm so impressed with is she's finishing all her rides, too. Very consistent. She's got a high strike rate right now. So for her, you know, she's already got the job done in terms of these, you know, decent rides. You know, at this point, looking forward in this heat, she's going to really want to look for that meaty part of the section and let loose just a little more. You can see beautiful carve there. Another nice snap. She actually threw quite a bit of spray there. And then that wave closed out. So at this point, you know, she's got the 5s and a 6 locked down. So you know that she'll be looking to step it up just a little bit, maybe a big section and go for a big tail side, something in that order, you know, to get the judges to break into that 7 points or higher.
Surfing well, but the judges haven't taken a ride of Sage's into the excellent range just yet. The best score that she's had as she's made her way through to the quarterfinals is a 6.67. Her scoring potential was limited, and Johanne knows that. She likes this second wave much better. Loads up with speed, drives into the first section, puts up a pretty nice little fan there, and then draws out a nice carving turn. And this is looking like one of the better waves of this quarterfinal heat. Great flow, just linking it all together and getting the finish on the inside there. You could see that wave wasn't really giving her much back, Ross, when she was punching that lip. It is a little weaker today than what we've seen on some of the other days in the event window. Yeah,
you're spot on there, Ronnie. Good observation. So you have to adjust, don't you, on the fly? You got to have good reflexes always in surfing. You know, if you don't get that pushback from the wave, you can overpower it and slide out or lose control. So you have to lighten up just a little bit right there. Nice carve. We know that Johanne's good at that move right there. Another little slice. And she's just waiting for that lip to show up. There it is. She gave it a little tap, and a second one. You know, she only needs a 6.6. This is definitely right there in that neighborhood. It's definitely Johanne Defay's best wave. It should be better than her 5.5. Just because, you know, she's strung together multiple maneuvers. She threw in some variety. I like it when she gets on her heel edge. She's pretty strong. We saw all that training in that piece that we showed. She's got strong legs, so when she gets on that rail, she knows how to wrap it clean. Very aggressive. When she sees a big old section, she attacks it.
It's going to be an interesting heat for Glenn Hall, because he coaches both those surfers. We've hit him up about that before. What would be the scenario if Laura and Tyler ended up in a heat? He has said that he would just give the information necessary to both surfers.
I'd say Laura's a little lighter on her feet. Tyler's got amazing skills with you know, getting the tail free and mixing up moves. So that's going to be a really tough heat for Laura.
She reads the ocean beautifully. Sage Erickson's been reading it very well. There's a nice pocket snap there on the backhand. And she is back in second spot. And that was great surfing. What a finish on the inside there. She needed that wave too. Johanne Defay up once again. She did move into the lead with her last ride, Defay, a 6.93. She's trying to get rid of a 5.53 with this wave to push her heat score total a little higher and make life difficult for Erickson.
What a cool exchange right there. A couple of quality looking waves. We just saw the tail end of those last two maneuvers of Johanne, so it should be interesting to see if she got anything big done outside. Sage, wow, nice little setup snap there. You see her wipe that speed off, trying to get back in the pocket, and it really paid off for her. That second maneuver, quality. Again, 2 hacks. You can see again, once she's wound up on her backhand, she's vicious. She really attacks it. And that last maneuver, I love the definition there. She really clarified that last turn, kind of whipping that board back down. So really nice off the lip. So that was actually the first move for Johanne. Nice carve. If she could have this wave back, you can see right there, she kind of wheelied into that last turn, and she lost her spot on that wave, and then she ended up with just a couple of wiggles to finish. That might be the difference. You know, my first instinct is the Sage might turn this heat back. Get clean off the lip to finish that wave. So, you know, Sage Erickson, she's just taking care of business out there. You know, she's not necessarily trying to push the envelope and overpowering these waves, but that's what this calls for. You really got to have flow out there today. And, you know, Sage, she's all about flow, isn't she? She really knows how to link her turns together. We always talk about her style. You know, it's very nice to watch how she can link together maneuvers, but it's the same thing for Johanne Defay. Very similar surfers. That's what makes this heat such a close battle running.
That's right, yeah. I think Sage Erickson's one of those surfers, if you were just down the beach and you saw her gliding across a wave, she doesn't even have to do much, and you can appreciate what you're watching. But when you start thinking about the criteria, that style kind of becomes mute to a point. It's void. You've got to be doing turns if you're going to be getting those excellent scores. She almost got there into the 8s with that last ride, a 7.4, and now Johanne is forced to really lay down something special. She needs a 6.98. Decent looking wall here. This is back to live action, and this wave is just going to fade away. She's forced to kick out. Just over 2 minutes to go. Sage still out the back, just was watching that wave very closely. Obviously nervous times for Sage Erickson. She has lost a heat to Johanne Defay in the past in like the final 10 seconds. So she knows how dangerous this woman can be.
Yeah, this is a pretty solid set wave here for Johanne. And again, the judges won't be super impressed if you go to cutbacks, and you can see Johanne just getting out to the shoulder and cutting back. Unfortunately, that wave didn't provide that long wall we were talking about at the top of the seat, where we're talking about A-frames and walls and what does it all mean. So for Johanne Defay, if she's going to get a big score, she needs to tag the lip. And right there, that's a decent maneuver, but you can see there's where the wave turns into a bit of an A-frame. So now Sage Erickson, she is looking great. A minute and a half, she has priority. She can play that game and try to really hold Johanne off of any wave that comes through.
Well, she's had 2 semi-finals in the past, Sage Erickson. She's never broken into the final of a championship tour event. She might just get that opportunity here at Trestles. 1 minute to go. And nervous times for Erickson. She's got priority. She lets this first wave go. I don't mind it at the moment. Johanne Defay, she doesn't have a lot of wall to work with here. She's going to really have to unleash some big moves to get the 6.98 on this smaller ride. And she just kicks out right there on the inside. 40 seconds remaining now. That must have been tough for Sage, just with the memory of that heat loss with a priority error to Johanne a couple of years back in Margaret River.
That was crazy. She allowed Johanne to sneak in and grab her there at Margaret River. Same kind of thing. But I agree with you. I didn't really mind that decision, letting Johanne go. I think she was keeping her head wrapped around what Johanne would be able to do on that wave, which is just probably a couple of snaps. It didn't have that real heavy section on it where she could maybe go for one big air. So pretty clever from Sage, and she should get the win here.
Well, the onside announcer is counting this one down. Sage Erickson, a California native, is through to the semi-finals, and the local crowd will love that.